There's everybody. Hi, Edith.
Hi, Edith. Is that Edith? Which way are we looking? I'm not sure which way we're looking at.
Who else is there? Mary? Mary's Place?
Mary, Mike,
Who's
Scott.
that? Scott McCain.
Scott
Oh, my
McCain.
goodness. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Nice to see you.
Is this exactly how it felt?
There's Shirley. That's our director. Hi, Shirley. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Do you look beautiful? Hi, Cindy.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Hello.
This is lovely.
Everybody have a drink open besides me?
I'm going to go get one right now, Scott.
Cheers.
Good.
We were just having Tondi for supper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hi, Don. Hello, Don.
Sally, I just thought I better let Scott know I have a drink, and it's Action Pig, so at least it's one of our
Good boy,
sponsors.
Don. I don't like to drink alone. That's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Very
Well,
good.
Hi, it is Mary with the Johnsons, with the Disney Castle.
There's Denise. Hi, Denise.
Hi.
Sorry.
How do we get to see everybody so you can see the lovely ladies here all dressed up?
There we are.
No, look at them all. That's them. We're all glammed up, ready for the party.
That's wonderful.
So I'd like to propose a toast to all the frontline workers and those heroes of ours. To raise a drink, have one, lemonade or wine. This is a rhubarb martini that I made with a little of rhubarb that I brought from my parents' farm about 5 years ago, and it grows every year to a beautiful plant. And I toast Grandma and all our frontline heroes. Martina.
Cheers.
Come on in, Allie. Allie Bennett is my boyfriend, and Allie is a Cape Breton musician. He is a bass player. He's played bass with Rita McNeil, the Rankins, John Allen Cameron, and Stan Rogers. And he's also a fiddler, and he sings and plays the guitar. So I'm pretty lucky to have him. He's brought music into my life, so it's been very nice. So I don't know if we could convince Allie to play a song. Allie play a song?
I would love that.
I'll send him off to get his guitar.
Wonderful. Go, Allie.
You want to share your video? Okay, Chief. We're here. We'll say hi.
Hi, everyone.
And Captain Mute?
No, Rose muted. We can just, we'll unmute you.
Somehow these things, some of our dreams got started. All that was true was found in the blue. Eyes are so sparkle in the moon. So now let's dance that old dance once more. Still in the school. And we move on and go around where the sun is best and where your favorite is. Out of the blue. Let's dance that old dance once more. Now the frost king is come with the flicker of the stuff. Turns your windows to where the songs are. As we sit around the fire, eager to inquire how the ways of the soul and the heart. Years pass us by, let the soft whispered sigh, not noticing you as it flew. It's easy to tell where your age was, not trying to prove you're still you. So now let's dance that old dance once more. Still be still. Go around where the sun the road. Let's dance hello, this once and
Yay.
Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you later on.
That was amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
so fortunate to have him, and well, have him. That's not really, you know what I mean.
Ah,
And I've started taking guitar lessons, not going terribly well. Number one, I had to cut all my fingernails,
oh,
and then calluses. And I'm a slow learner, but I'm looking forward to eventually getting to where I can play and sing along to myself.
that's amazing. So it's kind of neat to be able to see behind the scenes. Is this where you work? Do you work out of your home or?
No, I've been going into work every day, Sally, and only because the video portion of my job. So I do a lot of writing for the papers, and all that can be done from home, but I have to go in to do the video portion of my job. So I go in. Yeah, so this is my little humble home in Dartmouth, and yeah, this is. I bought this house when I first moved to the Maritime, so it's been 22 years now, and I feel like a Maritimer, and I hope that I'm embraced as a Maritimer because I just feel very welcome here.
That's nice.
Now more than ever, you're right, we do need to step up, and we all have to step up and do what we can. So this is a little bit of what we can do to help all the frontline workers and to help the wonderful residents and staff at Rocmaura, for sure.
I don't think we realized when we took this on how technically complicated it is. And you were saying like you're set up there in your home. If we could see behind the camera, what would we see today?
Well, I realized early on, because I took my computer home, my little laptop, and I walked around the house. I thought, oh, it would be nice to see the fireplace behind me. And then I realized, well, I don't know what the weather's going to be like, you know, a month down the road. And if the sun is coming in the windows, we're going to need some fill light. So I borrowed 2 lights, and they're on little stands. There's one in front of me, and there's one just around the corner flashing a little bit of light on that wall. Otherwise, it's amazing how the computer adjusts to the light in your face and then darkens everything in the back. So I needed the lighting, but then I thought, where will I put the computer, the camera? So I have an old step ladder full of paint right in front of me, and I have a nice little boudoir mirror that I put on its side, put a box behind my laptop, duct taped it in that boudoir mirror with a towel over so it wouldn't scratch the mirror. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to post it after a while because it's not elegant, but it works. It's the only way to get it to work. And I have to say that I couldn't have done it without Ali, because Ali's been in the music business for 45 years. And so he's seen all these setups, you know, people forget stands or things and how you make do with duct tape. And so I'm very fortunate to have him. So everything seems to be working fine. I'm worried about my dress catching fire and the candles on the table. Otherwise, I think we should be good for the show. Well, Sally,
yes.
I know how your challenges, how your day-to-day challenges have changed since COVID-19. How are things for you in your daily life?
We, the first day they told us at work that we had to wear masks. I'm not a healthcare worker, so I'd never worn a mask before. I remember running down to the director of nurses office and saying, can you show me how to wear a mask? Like, it just seems so funny now, like that's an everyday thing, but it just felt so odd, so strange.
So the day that Sally came down and said, Shirley, can you do a video and show us how to wear a mask? It's something that we've been doing our whole career as nurses, so it was really quite interesting to have to teach somebody how to wear a mask.
But we had students taking our temperatures when we come in, and when we leave, we have to take our temperatures all the time, and constantly washing our hands and stay 6 feet apart, and all of those terminologies like social distancing, a whole new language nowadays. It's been so interesting.
Thank you all so much for coming together to do this for Rocmaura tonight. We are so happy, and we're looking forward to a fantastic evening. And we express our gratitude to all of you for being there for Rocmaura. And I wanted to give a little shout out to Sally. She was just talking about the masks and learning about everything that we have to do. And all of us nurses have known how to do these things for a while. And Sally has employed all of her skills as a journalist to bring us into the 21st century. She's had us all over Facebook and every other sort of social media, and she's really helped us with educating everybody because of all the skills that she has, and she's reached out to all kinds of different colleagues.
Oh, thank you. It's been a lot of fun, really. Yeah, it's been a team effort, that's for sure. So I guess it's 8 o'clock now. It's time to get our show started.
Good evening and welcome to Rocmaura Foundation's Armchair Gala. This is my home. I live in Dartmouth, and I'm happy to welcome you into my home and into all of our hearts. Thank you for joining us. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue. You know, each year I fly to St. John, New Brunswick, and I host this amazing gala. This year, a little bit different. We're all having to live different lives thanks to COVID-19. But I have to say that it's heartwarming to see how many people have reached out and continue to support Rocmaura. This is the 22nd annual gala. It is my 8th, and we know that it will continue thanks to your support. Right now, long-term care is very, very important in our communities, and Rocmaura is all about communities. We know that you care for our seniors at Rocmaura, and you show it each and every day, and you're showing it here this evening. So again, it's a little bit different that, you know, standing in my home, I love to get dressed up. I asked Sally Cummings, what should I wear for the evening? She said, well, some people will be wearing their jeans, watching from home. They might be in their jammies. And I thought, I have a dress with feathers, so I'm going to put my feathers on because this is the most important night of the year for Rocmaura, for the residents, for the frontline workers, for the heroes that are the frontline workers. And so I am all dressed up and ready for an amazing evening. Now, it's been a very difficult time here in Nova Scotia. We've had many challenges, and it's been a difficult time right across the country. It's caused a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. There's no doubt about that. And so why not kick up our heels and laugh a little? My grandmother always said that laughter is the best medicine. So we're going to give you a fantastic show here tonight, and we know that you're going to enjoy it. We've got a very special someone, and because our program is so packed, I want to get to that right now. I want to introduce to you Mr. James Mullinger, and he is one of the greatest comedians this country has ever known. He comes to us from afar. We're going to get to meet him a little more in detail in just a few moments, but please welcome comedian James Mullinger, who is at the BMO Studio Theatre in Uptown St. John. James, are you there?
I am here. Can you see or hear me?
I can see, hear, and hear you, and it is so nice to meet you.
Likewise, it is truly an honor to be with you this evening. I'm a huge fan of yours and have been for a long time. And I know you've supported this incredible organization for many, many years. So I can't thank you enough for letting me be a small part of it here tonight. Thank you.
It's exciting to have you. You are such a funny man. And I know that everybody at home watching will call two friends tomorrow and say, you can't imagine how funny James is. So they're in for a treat. They really, really are.
Oh, don't oversell it. Don't oversell it. I must also say that you're looking absolutely spectacular tonight. I got my hair done as well. I was very, very excited. Like Blaine Higgs, I was able to go and get my hair done with my mask on, of course.
Yes.
In a responsible way. How did it feel to have your hair done for the first time post-COVID?
I have not even been there yet. My next or first appointment since, I don't know, February is going to be Monday at 5:30. I'm counting down the hours, James.
Wow. I have to say, a lot of people are going to be very jealous of you right now, Cindy. The fact that your hair still looks that good after 3 months of lockdown. But kudos to you. Obviously, being a meteorologist, you are very much an essential worker, much like a comedian, I suppose.
Yes.
Of course. In all seriousness, tonight I'm just truly honored to be here, supporting Rocmaura, supporting the Rocmaura Foundation, and of course all of the heroes that have worked tirelessly throughout this pandemic, and of course all year round. And I was just pointing out how lucky we are to have such an incredible community coming together, and here's a reminder of what we've been going through these past few months. Thank you.
The disease is still with us, and we must all remain vigilant.
Because it's invisible. People have been transmitting who don't have symptoms at all, and that's the part that's really challenging for people, to not be able to see it. You can't see COVID-19.
So that opens us up to a whole lot of exposure to a whole lot of different people. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. This is my birthday present.
Is that, oh, yes.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Henry, we got something to do with your wine glass.
This will stop the residents from coming down through.
We use a lot of bleach on everything, your handle.
To keep these residents all happy and doing a lot of work and keeping it nice and clean in here.
We know the senior population is, at higher risk of catching this awful virus, the coronavirus, and anything we can do to help is what we want to do.
32, 52, and 62. That's a good bingo. Good. There we go.
Thank you.
Miss Mooney, there you go. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thank you.
And you're welcome. All right, everyone. Clear your
Thank
cards.
you. Now give me one.
Clear your cards.
See, there you go. Oh, isn't that cute? Yeah.
Oh my goodness, look who's here. Look, Mary. Oh, look at Ed. Look at Ed.
Wait for Wendy. Yay.
Oh, wait for. Look at Ed. What number?
92.
No.
Happy birthday, dear Prepare. Happy birthday to you.
Saturday night and the moon is out. I'm gonna head on over to the twist and shout. T-shirt party renegade be. When it lifts me up, I'm gonna find my bed. Out in the middle of a big dance floor. When I hear that thing, you wanna beg for more. Wanna dance to my favorite Louisiana tonight. I wanna dance to my favorite Louisiana tonight. Yeah, I wanna dance to my favorite Louisiana tonight.
So I guess my connection to Rocmaura is that, God willing, I will someday find my way to be surrounded by loving people like that and be in the wonderful care of people on the front lines and behind the scenes, like Sally and Sheena and Shirley and all that great bunch of people. So I guess that's my connection. If you would like to help these hardworking people continue to support and make the lives more comfortable for all the citizens, the residents at Rocmaura, you can help further. You can make a donation online at canadahelps.org, or the phone lines are open right now. Roz and Leona are standing by 506-652-7582. They're waiting to take your call. So if you can just pick up the phone and dial that number and give what you can, it will make a difference. There's some government money coming, but there are so many things that they need to make the residents there comfortable in their home, away from home, and you can make that difference. So without any further ado, I want you to have a look at this little video. It's going to further explain why we're here tonight and why we need to support Rocmaura.
When Dad got sick in the spring, he was so glad Mom was looked after here at Rocmaura, that it was a safe place for her to be and looked after.
The care that she gets is second to none. You know, she eats well here. She's bathed and showered, cleaned up every day. The activities are amazing. She goes to church every week, sings songs almost every day. Delbert, she loves Delbert. She's very content and happy, which makes it so easy for all of us to come and visit. She's always happy.
And I think that's important, is for people to know where their donations are going. You know, even getting new furniture outside in the garden. And as you said, the wardrobes. It's so nice to be able to come and put our mother's things away, and there's lots of space and it's new.
And the money that we receive from the foundation goes a long way in providing comfort for our residents. We've enjoyed the Theraglide rockers that we get. They soothe the residents, especially the dementia residents.
There's lots of ways people can help the Rocmaura Foundation, and one of them is the Wardrobe Project. And the rooms look so fabulous with the wardrobes. It brightens up the rooms. Also flowers here that my family, my brother works for the Horticultural Association. He donated the flowers, and we've enjoyed caring for them. There's so many ways you can give to Rocmaura. Probably the most recent project that looks so fabulous upstairs is the wall of beautiful pictures of days gone by. Every little dollar helps, and we really appreciate all the money that people have given to the Rocmaura Foundation.
Tonight we want to honor the caregivers who are doing such a wonderful job. The frontline workers, those frontline heroes as we call them, and for a good reason, who are keeping Rocmaura's 150 residents safe. I made a rhubarb martini. My grandmother loved rhubarb. I took a root from the farm, and over the years I've nurtured it, and every year I make rhubarb martini and toast my grandmother. And I want to toast all the frontline workers who we're honoring here tonight. So cheers to you. Shouldn't have too much of that. So as you may know, that Rocmaura Nursing Home was founded by the Sisters of Charity, and their mission is to be a community of caring. And that is very obvious if you've ever gone to Rocmaura or even met the people on the board, the frontline workers, the behind the scenes workers, and the many volunteers as well. And they really are dealing with a community of caring. At the forefront has been one very amazing woman, leading New Brunswick, Dr. Jennifer Russell, the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health. Recently on Twitter, I saw paintings and caricatures of Dr. Russell in a cape with her mask. She truly is a hero in New Brunswick. She's been providing daily updates and helping New Brunswick plank the curve. That's been the term, and that's been the case as well. The same message, her message all along has been compassion and kindness, and she seems to be living by those words and helping the rest of the province along as well. So we have a surprise for you tonight. This very busy woman has taken a break to be with us.
Dr. Russell, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, I must start by saying thank you for everything you've done for all of us and for the province and for keeping us safe. How does it feel to be the most famous person in New Brunswick right now?
I don't think I'm the most famous person in New Brunswick, but it is an interesting time for sure. Obviously, nobody expected a pandemic to occur in this particular way.
Yeah.
And so being front and center in terms of communicating with the public regularly has been a great experience. And anyway, I'm grateful at this point in time.
Well, and everyone is very grateful to you. And so it must be a nightmare for you going into Sobeys to do the shop. Yeah, I mean, it must take hours to get in and out.
Well, I try not to go to too many different places, obviously, but when I have been out, yes, people have recognized me, and that's been interesting. So yeah.
I mean, do you still get recognized with a mask on?
Yes, actually.
That's a sign of true fame when you get recognized, when people just know this part.
Yes, yeah, and maybe the hair. So yeah.
And so how much has your life kind of changed in the last few months? Because you already had obviously a very high profile job and a very important job, but to then kind of transition into something so dramatic, and of course, I mean, a kind of tragic thing globally, but to be kind of given this, a huge responsibility, how have you kind of coped with that, and how has it changed life?
Well, there's definitely a certain intensity that has come upon all of us during this pandemic, and so I think the hours that I work have changed. My home life, my lifestyle, have obviously changed dramatically. Again, with the focus being on all the things we need to do as a province to get through this, and making sure that we're tuned into all of the new information that comes in and transmitting that to the public in a timely way. So it's just been a really like ramping up in terms of work hours, energy level, and just trying to manage that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, it must be incredible kind of trying to cope with it all. And you have 2 children at home. How are they coping, and how have things been at home for you?
Well, I don't see them much anymore. My hours made it such that since I wasn't there very much, they decided to go live with their dad for a bit. But that's okay. I see them on weekends when I can, and so we do have quality time. But they're doing very, very well right now. So they've coped well, they've managed well, and so I'm not really worried about them at this point in time. So we stay connected through the week, and yeah, I see them on the weekends. Yeah, but in terms of the work hours, I had spent some time in the military. So in terms of that discipline of working long hours and being separated from your family, obviously on deployments and whatnot, that kind of discipline and work pace and stress and intensity I have experienced before.
Yeah. So not many people necessarily know that you were in the military for many years, and I believe you were once put in a position where you had to jump out of a plane. Is that right?
Oh, where you got that story? I did not jump. I was hoisted down. So we were in Trenton working with the search and rescue team there, and they worked with Labrador helicopters, and we had to simulate being a patient, being rescued. So in order to be rescued, you have to be hoisted down first. They unhook you, then they harness you back in, and then they'll hoist you back up. So I didn't actually jump. It was hoisted. I was hoisted out of a hovering Labrador helicopter.
Well, the hoisted still counts, because I mean I've never departed any type of air vehicle in any other capacity than on the ground. So it's still impressive.
Yeah, you have to minimize the swinging. So you have to stay very steady and straight, because once the swinging starts, that's not good momentum to have.
That's a good. See, there's something people are learning today as well. That's good. And I must say, also very impressive, and a huge congratulations to your Physician of the Year award yesterday. How did that feel, and what does that mean to you?
Well, I was very grateful, and it was very humbling. And I have to say, when I had 2 minutes to give a little thank you speech, and what I was thinking and what I said was, my goodness, anybody practicing medicine during a pandemic deserves an award. And sure enough, after they presented my award, the next award was the Award of Excellence. And the person giving the awards, Dr. Martin, said, well, you'll be very pleased to know that the next recipients of the next award are all of the family doctors in New Brunswick are receiving the Award of Excellence. I was like, yes, exactly. They deserve it.
That's amazing. And you're right, they do deserve it. And also it goes to prove that you can predict things. You knew that was going to happen seconds ago.
Oh my. Yeah.
And of course, I mean, I know that you grew up in Bathurst and you obviously love this province. And of course, I mean, one of the things that, you know, one of the few positives that we've been able to all kind of take out of this time is a real appreciation of home and where we live. And I was lucky enough to visit the Fundy Trail Parkway yesterday. What are the things that you're looking forward to doing in New Brunswick for your staycation this summer?
Well, obviously Bathurst. My parents still live there and they have a cottage on the beach. So that's one of my happy places to go to. I have enjoyed camping around the province in Fundy. I've hiked Mount Carlton. So any of those types of things I can see myself being inclined to do if I get a chance to. Yes.
Yeah, well, I hope you do get a chance to. That's true. I imagine right now there is not much opportunity for downtime, but we're all hoping, of course, that you do get that downtime that you deserve so well. Obviously, we're here today to celebrate the amazing work of Rocmaura and the important work that they do. Is there anything that you could kind of share with our viewers today about the kind of importance of supporting organisations like this?
Well, certainly before the pandemic, from a public health perspective, supporting the social determinants of health, supporting vulnerable populations, obviously is a priority even when you're not in a pandemic, but certainly during a pandemic, making sure that people are well looked after from a mental health perspective, from emotional needs to financial support, et cetera. And, you know, feeling safe where we live, our environment is very important. So we knew pre-pandemic that we had these issues that are very, very important. And then during a pandemic, obviously they're even more important because they really do shine light on vulnerabilities and what we can do to support people who need support. So obviously, yes, it's great work that is being done, and so I'm happy to support it.
That's really nice, and it's the thing that I've loved so much about this, and of course here we all are live here on Saturday night, right? And and I love the fact that again, I mean, certainly New Brunswickers, almost more than any other region, we're known for kind of our resilience and the fact that people are kind of making the best of what is obviously a tragic situation. And the Rocmaura Foundation, of kind of the fact they've managed to take their kind of annual, hugely successful public live events into this kind of virtual space, and the fact that you and I here are now sharing this time with hundreds, possibly thousands of people, and they're not having to leave their homes, they don't have to get babysitters, they don't have to get a DD, they're not paying expensive restaurant prices, they're paying liquor store prices. Like everyone's coming together for Rocmaura tonight, and I love that feeling.
Yeah, maybe they're ordering skip the dishes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's very true. And how have you felt about the fact that, of course, as your people's kind of love for you has grown and people have learned more and more about you, you've kind of just garnered this brand new fan base for your musical side, which suddenly people became aware of. I noticed the YouTube views shooting up. I was already aware of your musical side and a fan of it, but I'm glad to see that everyone else is jumping on. How did that feel as that started to happen?
Well, I probably wasn't aware of it as it was happening, only because I'm distracted with other things. And certainly I love music. I studied music. My first degree was an arts degree with a major in music. So I have played music all my life. And I was fortunate enough to write some music that people wanted to help me record. So I have 2 CDs of original 40 style jazz, and you can hear it for free on SoundCloud. So if anybody's interested in hearing those CDs, they're free on SoundCloud. And in fact, the last CD I launched was at the same night that you were playing at the Playhouse last year. Oh. You were my competition for the fundraiser I was doing. I was doing a fundraiser for Liberty Lane. I was like, oh, that James Mullinger, he's at the Playhouse. He's cutting into my potential fundraiser with, you know, people that were going to come. But anyway, no, that didn't happen. We had a great turnout, despite the fact that you were probably playing to a full house at the Playhouse.
Well, it's good. We both were, but that's a good thing. It's a good thing we both had full houses. But next time, I feel like we should make your fundraiser bigger, and we both do it together. That's
I love that idea. Yes.
Let's do that.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Perfect. Well, that's a done deal. We have witnesses, hundreds of thousands of them. We are definitely going to do that together.
Wonderful.
And I have one final question after this, but before we do, one of the things that I've loved so much about hearing you speak every day is, of course, that you make everything, very clear to morons like myself who don't really understand things, and making it very simple. But one of the other things is the way in which you talk a lot about your team and all the people behind the scenes, and of course the frontline workers. I just wondered if you wanted to give any particular shout outs or anything like that.
Oh my goodness. The team of people that I work with are so fantastic. And this is a very large team. I mean, my immediate team obviously are the public health folks, and then we are integrated with the health folks, the Department of Health. And we have an emergency operations team that was working basically 7 days a week, 15-hour shifts, rotating through. There's about 40 people in this room every day, you know, morning, noon, and night, doing in-briefs and out-briefs, very military-like, actually. And so the energy, enthusiasm, and passion and dedication of these people is incredible. So shout out to the emergency operations committee here at Department of Health, with representatives from all over government. So education, oh my God, I'm going to leave them all out if I try to name them all. But many, you know, social development, et cetera, like many government representatives to sort of wrap their arms around all the needs that we had in terms of solving problems and managing the crisis. And then, you know, the EMO people and Department of Public Safety, so it's huge. And then, yes, the frontline people, all the healthcare workers, and all the essential workers. Obviously, we can't do our job without everybody kind of working as a team. So everybody who's been working really hard. I think, you know, people talked about, oh, you must have had some luck, and like, no. You know, yes, we didn't have a super spreader event at the beginning, like places in Newfoundland and whatnot, but we had a lot of people who were doing a lot of planning and a lot of organizing to get us to where we are right now, and continuously learning mock exercises, tabletop exercises, you know, really practicing and working through all of the details that need to be hammered out so that we are solid in our responses. Yeah, because, you know, we know we're going to continue to have more outbreaks until we get a vaccine.
Yeah, of course. Well, as you rightly say, we salute all of them, and I salute you. I can't thank you enough, and I can't thank you for being here today and taking time out of your busy schedule to support Rocmaura. Just before we go, I just wondered, on the off chance, if you would happen to have any musical instruments lying around by any chance, because I know these Rocmaura supporters and myself would love it if we could see a performance. Would that be okay?
Well, I just happen to have an instrument here. I do play the saxophone. When I sing with the Jen Russell Band, I sing, and I don't really play the saxophone, but I play with the Tortoise, the Hare, and the Millionaire. And we actually played at Harvest this year, which was a lot of fun, and in the blues tent. So I play the saxophone with them, but I haven't had a chance to get together with them recently. But anyway, I started playing the saxophone when I was 13. And as a result of the music program that was started, and we got to pick which instrument we wanted to play, so I chose the saxophone. Amazing. My mother, I was playing the piano before that, and when you first learn to play the saxophone, there's a bit of a honky sound. It sounds like a Canada Goose. And my mom would sometimes, you know, ask me to stop playing, but I persisted, and so I've been playing in bands. Yeah, since I was a teenager. And so I will play one small tune, and I haven't actually had my instrument out very often in the last little while. As I mentioned, I'm a little bit distracted.
Been a bit busy.
It's busy. But when I first started playing the saxophone, we were introduced to big band music, and I think that's where my love of 40s style came from. But anyway, I'm just going to play a short little tune. And then I hope that all the viewers enjoy that, and I hope they're inspired in terms of I've met people who only learn to play an instrument as an adult, and it's never too late. So whatever your dream, whatever your passion is, it's never too late. So here we go. This is all of me, and I might squeak because my reed might have dried out by now, but I'll do my best.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen at home, around your campfires, in your gardens, in your living rooms, give a big round of applause to the one, the only, amazing Dr. Russell. Thank you so much for your time, for your service, and for that performance. And I can't wait to see you live on stage with the Tortoise, the Hare, the Millionaire. I'm a big fan of them, big fan of yours. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. I salute you.
Thank you. Nursing homes like Rocmaura are under an undue amount of stress. It's been a very difficult time, but a lot of pressure to protect the most vulnerable people in our society, and they're doing an amazing job. Have a look.
You are arranged by chance. I've never worked with better employees ever. They give everything to the residents. They love them like they're their own moms and dads.
You can hear them talking to the resident, and the kindness just comes right through the door. Yeah, I love it here.
And you can tell that they love being here. Yeah, and treat the residents, like their parents.
Nice.
Yeah.
The staff are doing the best they can to try to cheer them up and do their hair and make them have a good day and laugh, and everybody works really hard around here.
Mainly because they live the mission. They understand our mission statement. They put the residents first.
Has always been a community of caring people, and we always have to keep in mind that kindness and devotion to others and compassion. And I would say that Dr. Russell's message to spread kindness certainly lives very strongly at Rocmaura.
Our staff throughout this pandemic has been wonderful. They've all pulled in and helped one another, helped the residents.
I think it's our mission anyway, but it's really become quite evident that that is how they work all the time.
Okay, all right.
Bouncing around there.
Okay.
It's been an experience that none of us will ever forget.
It's been interesting. It's been fun.
I do feel that Rocmaura definitely has some great people working and some very caring people.
Great job. Way to go, Rocmaura.
The world goes round, you're up one day. The next you're down, it's a half an inch of water, and you think you're gonna drown. That's the way that the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round. You're up one day, the next you're down. It's a half an inch of water, and you think you're gonna drown. That's the way that the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round. That's the way that the world goes round.
Thank you.
Sheena, she's a rock star. ROC on there. Oh, funny.
Sheena is our superhero. Sheena lives and breathes Rocmaura. We are up, honestly, from the time the sun rises till it sets, discussing things. Also in the middle of the night, too, when it warrants. Sheena is amazing. She's the best leader ever, and she gives her heart and soul to this place.
Hi, everybody. This is my daughter, Roz. She just, the phone was ringing during that. Sorry, I got sidetracked there a little bit. Tell us what happened.
Well, we got our first donation of $200.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, whoever called in. We appreciate it. I'm Sally Cummings. I'm the director of Rocmaura Foundation. And this has been a lot of fun tonight. Like everyone else, we've had to adapt, and we did some outside the box thinking to put together this virtual gala tonight. So we're happy to be here, and St. John, you never let us down. So we really appreciate that. I just wanted to say a big shout out and a thank you to all of our board members, all of our suppliers at Rocmaura, and all of our supporters in general. You've helped us raise so far tonight. The grand total is $40,611 plus that $200. So I guess it would be $811. Thank you, everyone. That's amazing. We're so happy. So one of our longtime supporters is with us. He's a former board member, and he's zooming in. Don Mitchner, can you hear us? Oh, the phone's ringing again. Hi, Don.
Hi, Sally. Just to reiterate, Sheena's congratulations for getting this organized. I'm really delighted to be not really here. I'm just virtually here.
Well, thank you very much. Don was actually on our board back in 2007 when we started a very important project. It was called the Wardrobe Project. And we started to refurbish all of the rooms. Our home is about 50 years old. So far we've renovated 3 wings or 3 courts in the home. We've renovated about 102 units. We've raised about $357,000 to do that. And we have 40 wardrobe units left to build. So we need to raise $140,000 in order to finish that project. Don, incidentally, has already funded 4 of these wardrobes. So thank you so much, Don. And tonight, he wanted to announce that he's going to donate another $3,500 to donate another wardrobe. So we're so appreciative of that, Don.
Thanks very much, Sally. The Wardrobe Project is like literally the first major renovation that Rocmaura has undertaken. And with the residents now staying in their homes or rooms all the time, the urgency of renovating the rest of them is now more urgent. I'm delighted to be affiliated with Rocmaura, but I have an amazing admiration for the competencies and the temperaments of the people who look after people at Rocmaura. I don't have that ability. But fortunately, I'm in a position where I can help financially. I also have a similar admiration for the Sisters of Charity, and it doesn't come from religion. I'm an orphan out of a Protestant home in north of Toronto. My wife, however, was Catholic, so I think that's where we got the affiliation. Like those sisters, Jane was very caring, so I would like to, if you don't mind, I would appreciate very much if you would dedicate this one wardrobe in her name. Jane and I have always shied away from any recognition. I think this is a worthwhile opportunity to do this.
Thank you. Of course we will. Thank you very much, Don. That's
Sally, one other thing, I'd like to go off script. This is embarrassing, having been on the board and starting this in 2007, and it's 13 years and we still haven't accomplished it. And we've got to get it done. And I know our governments won't fund capital projects for nursing homes. Well, let's make them pay for half of it. If you can find, I guess we have 3 commitments now, that leaves 37. If you can find financing for 32, I'll donate another 5 rooms, and maybe that'll accelerate some people to contribute it. And of course, with the tax credits they get for charitable donations, we make the government fund half of it anyway. And one other thing, if we can get a lot of elderly people to support us, we might even be able to make reservations for their rooms. Anyway.
Don, this is amazing. I can't believe this. I'm just in shock. So you're donating 6 wardrobes at $3,500 each. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
So you can, you can take that to the bank, but you may want to wait a while. I have to check my overdraft.
Atlantic Millwork is the company locally that's been building these beautiful wardrobe units, and they're very nice quality. And they actually pledged tonight that they would build 1 unit for free on our next order. So it looks like we're all set now. We can put in a whole order for our last court, terrace court at Rocmaura. So this is amazing. So that brings our total raised tonight, if I can do the math here, to $67,000. This is unbelievable. I'm amazed. Thank you so much, Don.
Delighted to do it, Sally.
Wow. So we only have 33 wardrobes left to build. And if you donate a wardrobe unit for $3,500, you can actually get a plaque engraved on it in memory of someone, a loved one, or with your company name on it. So there's still time to call in. So if anyone's interested in that project, we would love to build more of them.
That's pretty amazing, Don. Thank you so very much. That's a man with a very big heart. And I miss not being in St. John tonight, Sally, because I get to shake hands and hug these people with very big hearts. But right now, there's no handshake.
Well, you also didn't have to bring in any umbrellas.
Oh, that's right.
One other thing before you go. I'm going to flip my camera just for a minute. I'm out here in beautiful Darlings Island, but I'm going to twist my camera.
Oh.
I should probably do a duet with the wonderful doctor. But I've only had 1.5 years of junior high music training.
That's fantastic. And if you do that, Don, maybe I'll dust off my valve trombone and we could have a trio going.
Yeah, we can use you in the back and time band.
Okay, I'm there. I'm your person. Oh my goodness, such wonderful. This is so much fun. Sally mentioned off the top that we've had a few little hiccups, you know, but it's also new to us. This is something that, you know, when Sally mentioned that we were going to do this, I thought, I don't know. I love being on stage and reaching out to those amazing people, but I'm not sure that we can do this. But it's happening, and this groundswell is growing, and people are so generous. Well, you know what? This is exciting because it's what I've been waiting to do all evening. Introduce a British comedian who is going to knock your socks off. He has taken St. John by storm. He moved here about 6 years ago, loves Atlantic Canada, loves New Brunswick. In fact, New Brunswickers love him. I'm told that this next guest of ours, this very funny man, outsold Jerry Seinfeld at Harbor Station. Please welcome the one and only James Mullinger.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me now? Give me a wave if you can hear me. Wonderful. Hi, Trevor and Devon. Hi. Oh, congratulations, by the way, on your pending nuptials. Trevor and Devon are getting married, everyone. Please give them a round of applause. A double, triple celebration tonight. Genuinely an honor to be here with all of you. I know very well about the amazing work that Rocmaura does and have done over the years. And I can't thank you enough for letting me into your homes. For those of you that don't know, I left London, England 6 years ago, and I moved here to New Brunswick. And I will say this, I'd like to start the show by saying welcome to all of you. Welcome, because when I moved here 6 years ago, no one said that to me. No, I know, hard to believe. I moved here, very happy to be coming here with my family to start my new life, right? And no one said welcome, because I've lived and worked in other parts of the world, and you arrive there, and people go, oh, you've just moved here. Welcome, or greetings. But for some reason, you don't do that in New Brunswick. You have a completely different way of welcoming people. You don't say welcome or greetings. You say, why the hell did you move here? And I've got to say, you've got to stop doing that. It's not helping, making us feel like morons for coming here. And I couldn't understand it. I'd be like, why are you saying this? Look around. You've got beautiful views, friendly people, and thanks to annual flooding, waterfront mansions that cost 79 cents. It's amazing. I love everything about living here. It's been the best 6 years of my life. And I think a time like this has been very telling for all of us, how we've all come together. A friend of mine, the host of CBC's Debaters, said something recently when he said, right now, as we go through this terrible time in the world, it's hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel. So you have to make light in the tunnel. And that's what we're all doing here tonight, is trying to make light in the tunnel. I was supposed to be on a tour right now, a national tour. The phones are ringing again. The phones are ringing. Feel free to phone in during the show. That's fine. That's fine. Please phone and donate while the jokey jokes are going on. I was supposed to be on a tour right now called Embrace Where You Live. That was the name of the tour that I was supposed to be on. Of course, now it seems like rather an ironic title, since all we want to do is escape where we live. But we've got to make the best of this. It's a very confusing time, of course. It's very confusing. I was in Sobeys this morning trying to navigate the lines. You're doing the straight lines. Trying to get it right. Everyone's like, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. And then there's the COVID handshake, isn't there? The COVID handshake. That's what we're supposed to do now, right? But we're all supposed to sneeze in there as well. So people are sneezing in it and then giving it to me. I'm like, I don't want your sneezy. No, keep that away from me. I was in Sobeys this morning, actually, and I felt terrible. I was in a lineup. I actually felt a cough coming on. I was terrified. Everyone's looking at me, I'm worried. But luckily, at the exact same time, I felt a fart brewing. Yeah, because gone are the days when I would be in Sobeys and cover up my farts with a cough. Now it's the other way around. I'm covering up my coughs with my farts. That, as they say, is the new normal. This is obviously a very different world for all of us. I'm here performing to a camera. It's 3 months ago today, actually, 3 months ago today, that was my, my last show before lockdown happened. I've been doing lots of Zoom shows at home on my laptop. Of course, this is full length, so this is the first time I've been wearing trousers for a gig for some time, so that's a nice novelty. I was on stage last night at the Sussex Drive-In, and again, just people having to laugh by honking their horns. But here, I can't hear you. I can see you, obviously, which is nice. I'll tell you this, when I moved here, I was very happy here. Like I said, I was very happy to be starting a new life, but you do have to get used to a lot of changes living in New Brunswick. It's quite different living in New Brunswick to living in central London. Who knew? Who knew, right? I'll give you a little example, right? In England, if you went to someone's house for dinner and they said, would you like a glass of wine? And you said, oh, I'd love a glass of wine, thanks very much. Do you know what they would do? They would leave the room and they would come back with a glass of wine, delicious glass of wine. No caveats, no buts, just a delicious glass of wine. Doesn't quite work like that here in New Brunswick, does it? No. Here in New Brunswick, you go to someone's house for dinner and they say, would you like a glass of wine? And you say, oh, I'd love a glass of wine, thanks very much. There's a sentence they will say that will make your hearts drop. And that sentence is, I made it myself. Where did homemade wine come from? Oh, thank you. I can see some people clapping, some people laughing, some people looking very angry. Clearly, the homemade wine drinkers are not happy with me. There's a few people at Stephen Chisholm's table of more than 10 people I see. I hope Blaine Higgs isn't watching. Dear, oh dear, hi. Just joking, just joking. I'm sure you're all socially distant. No, they're not. Okay, no one get a measuring tape out. Good thing Jennifer Russell isn't on the call anymore. Where was I? Yes, it can split a room sometimes, the homemade wine thing. I stupidly, right, I didn't know how everyone knows everyone here and everyone's related. So I stupidly said this on the CBCs about a year ago about the homemade wine, because it doesn't exist in England. I'd literally never heard of it before. Well, maybe prison. In English prisons, maybe you'd have homemade wine, right? That's it. So I didn't know that word would spread around here. So there I was a year ago. I made this joke on the CBC. For the last year, I've drunk more homemade wine than all of you put together, because every house I go to, people go, oh, I heard what you said about the homemade wine. You've got to try my homemade wine. And they're so proud of it, aren't they? They're so proud of it, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Call me old-fashioned, if you will, right? But I'm a big fan of wine-flavored wine. Been very popular for centuries. These people, they think they know better, don't they? They think they know better. They're like, oh, James, you must try it. It's a special blend. It's pear and pubic hair flavor. This is the other thing. I don't know how long. Oh, some people, I never know how long to leave for a laugh. Like normally when I'm in this beautiful theater, right, I do the joke and then I hear the laugh and then I stop, but I don't know how long. But I can see some of you still laughing, some of you still very angry, thinking, get away from the homemade wine, James. We've had enough. Well, I will drink your homemade wine happily. But yeah, literally, I would say every day I'm walking into people's homes, they're like, James, you must try it, you must try it. I'm having to say, listen, Auntie Brenda, I don't want to drink any of your just add watered poison Kool-Aid moonshine. Buy a bottle. One woman actually said to me after a show recently, very angry she was, she said, I heard what you said about the homemade wine. She said, I'll have you know, we actually have shops you go to now, and they make the wine for you. I said, yeah, I think I've heard of that. It's called the bloody liquor store. I'm sure you're aware that there's obviously like no, the problem with a period like this, a global pandemic, is that it's generally assumed in movies that when things like this happen, that everyone starts tearing each other apart. But what's actually happened, certainly in New Brunswick, is everyone's come together and supported each other. And it's nice to see that kind of warming thing going on. I'm sure you saw, and you do have to take the positives out of it, right? I mean, for me, I was kind of, I was always on the road, never saw my family. Now I finish a show and normally I'm in the house with them. It's a wonderful thing. Certainly for the New Brunswick government, AMBL sales are through the roof and they've been using that extra money to support local initiatives. And of course, I'm sure you saw this, that Cannabis NB turned a profit for the first time ever. I know. Which, I mean, again, I'm not saying that prior to this it was slightly odd to think that, the New Brunswick government were the first people in history to lose money selling drugs. But anyway, the pandemic has helped us turn the tide on that. So not my place to question. The other thing that I had to get used to very quickly with living here is, of course, the way in which you all give directions here in New Brunswick. It is unlike anywhere else in the world. I've traveled around other places and you arrive there. I'm sure you have. You arrive and you ask a stranger for directions, and they'll use local landmarks or pull out a map on a phone. But you don't do that here. No, you have a completely different way of giving directions. You say, oh, I mean, I'll give you an example. Right? An example. I get stopped in the street occasionally by people, and they say to me, oh, it's you. Don't you live in the Seeley's house, don't you? You live in the Seeley's house. I'm pretty bloody sure I live in the Mullingers' house, actually, right? I should point out I didn't buy the house from the Seeleys, right? They moved out 38 years ago, but to everyone in St. John, it's still the Seeley's house, right? Right? Other places, the directions, landmarks, not here. Here, you give directions using landmarks of things that used to be there 25 bloody years ago. It's even worse in the rural areas. I was trying to find my way to a gig in Sussex, New Brunswick a few months ago because my career's going exactly as well as I pretend it is on Facebook. And I saw this gentleman. I said, excuse me, sir, do you know the way to the Sussex Legion? And I swear, word for word, this is what he says. He goes, yes, of course I know the Sussex Legion. Word for word, he goes, go to the end of this road and turn left at the tree where Donny crashed his bike in '78. Right before the lockdown, I was trying to get my oldest son, Hunter, he's 9, to an orthodontist appointment in the north end of St. John, right? We're walking along. There was a guy sat there on a doorstep. I didn't have the address. I said, excuse me, sir, do you know the way to this orthodontist? And he said, it's a few blocks this way. I don't know exactly where, but he said, it's a few blocks. He said, just look for the big red house on the corner, and it's on that road, and go up that road. I said, perfect. So I walked up and down this road 20 times, couldn't see this red house anywhere. Got back, the guy was still on his doorstep. I said, mate, I cannot find this street anywhere. Like, I can't find the red house on the corner. Word for word, he goes, oh no, it's not red anymore. There's an ad on a local radio station here right now for a business. I don't know what business, because it doesn't say. I don't know where they're located, because it doesn't say. It simply says, come and see us. We're located where Downey Ford used to be. Now, the messed up thing is, you all know exactly where that is. This all came to a head for me, right? Sorry, I hit my mic there. I'm sorry if that was, sorry. New normal. This all came to a head when I got lost a few months ago. I was trying to find a flooring company, and I found myself at a mall in St. John called Lancaster Mall. You know Lancaster Mall? Yes. I was like, it's like if it's any out of towners watching, it's a St. John's Harrods. So I'm at Lancaster Mall and I'm lost, and I saw this lady, and she looked like she knew what was what. She looked like she knew her way around. She looked like she'd been living at the mall for some time. I said, excuse me, madam, do you know the way to B&N flooring? And she said, yes, I do. I said, wonderful. I'm in safe hands here. Word for word, this is what she says. She goes, do you know where Zella's used to be? Do I look or sound like I know where Zella's used to be? I don't even know what a bloody Zella's is. I mean, I now know from my research that the building in question, the building to which she was referring, was actually behind where I was standing. It was in her field of vision, and it would make perfect sense to say where Zella's used to be if we're talking about an empty building with an old Zella's sign swinging off it. But no, it wasn't that. It's now quite a well-known, established chain called bloody Walmart. She could see the Walmart sign in the periphery of her vision, but she still calls it where Zella's used to be. Now, the day this happens, I'm thinking to myself, how am I ever going to find my way around? How am I going to tell people to come and move here from other parts of Canada and other countries if I can't even find my own way around? And that night, I'm on stage at Yuck Yucks in St. John, well, where Yuck Yucks used to be. See? How many of you said that with me? It's karaoke comedy. See? We don't have to be in the same room to do, yeah, look, Joel and Pam did. My friends Joel and Pam are there. Hi, guys. See, karaoke. See, we can do the banter thing. It's just like being in a club. Where was I? I'm doing this, but I'm aware this is weird, but we're doing it, right? And look, you haven't had to leave the house tonight. You're not having to pay expensive theatre prices. Not that they're expensive here. Everyone calm down, right? They're not expensive in this theatre, but in some theatres they are. So I'm on stage at Yuck Yucks in St. John, right? And I get to this point in the story that she said, where Zella's used to be, right? And I swear this is absolutely true. A woman in the back of the room stands up very angry and she goes, she's obviously not a true New Brunswicker then. I said, why is that? She said, because if she was, she would have said it's where Kmart used to be. How many of you already said the Kmart thing tonight? Shelley definitely did. I can tell Shelley was there sipping her homemade wine going, yeah, Kmart, he needs to say Kmart, yeah? I've done my research. It's funny. I mean, it's all over the place. I don't know how many of you people know that corner in Rossay that will forever be the old Brown Irving, right? The Queen of England could build like the new Buckingham Palace there and people would still call it the old Brown Irving. It's a wonderful thing. I mean, and I do get, people do ask me occasionally, they say to me, do you miss anything about London? And I can honestly say I don't miss anything about the hustle and bustle of life in London. I think the one thing that we've also learned from this recent pandemic is that to be in a place like this, where let's face it, we were already self-isolating before the self-isolation, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, you can go months, if not years, in New Brunswick without making physical contact with another human being that you're not choosing to make physical contact with, right? Whereas in London, I mean, the average day for every person living in London or indeed anywhere in England is you walk to your local train station, you walk down to the platform, and there'll be thousands of people on that platform, thousands. More people on that platform than there is in all of New Brunswick, frankly. And the train will come and it's full. And I don't mean New Brunswick full, like every seat taken, like however many 20 seats on the bus. I mean literally like full, like everyone's packed in like sardines. 3 people will squeeze on, the train will go, and you are on that platform for about an hour. So bear this in mind next time you're complaining, because I know what you're like here, especially in St. John, you're pulling off the highway going, oh my God, it's a nightmare. There's 4 cars in front of me, right? Just think about that. Your 7-minute commute took 9 minutes today, did it, right? This is, in London, you are on a platform for an hour. You gradually edge forward. You're covered in sweat. You've got people just touching you everywhere. You eventually get to the front. The train doors open and you squeeze in like this. Because that's the thing. By the time you get to work in England, you've had your face in 50 armpits, your elbow in 12 anuses before you've even got to work in the morning. And you get on the train, you're like this, right? And you're like this. And then someone very arrogant will squeeze on. They'll just squeeze on. So you've gone from this to not being able to breathe, right? Which is obviously not okay. Now I'm about to tell you something which is considered standard British etiquette. This is not considered rude at all, and this is why I don't miss England. Once you're on that train, and that extra arrogant person pushes their way on, it's very standard procedure, and you can do this if you go there, you have my permission, right? What would happen is you would all be on there, like this, and the person would squeeze on, you wouldn't be able to breathe, and the 3 of you that had just got on, you'd look at each other as if to go, oh, are we doing this? Yeah, we're doing this. And what you do is you would wait till the doors were just about to shut. Like you'd hear the beep, 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 and all 3 of you at once, you just push them out like that, right? Push them out, right? And they're not annoyed, right? It's standard British practice. They fall back and they'll go, yeah, fair enough. I did that to 5 people yesterday, right? That is the British mindset. I now live in a place where I can wait 5 minutes for the Gondola Point ferry boat, get onto the Gondola Point ferry boat, get halfway across the water, some moron arrives 10 minutes late, We will go back to get that person. But best of all, and most importantly, every single person on that boat is thinking, yes, this is absolutely the right thing to do. If that doesn't sum up what we have as New Brunswickers here, I don't know what does. I have to say another positive that I'm trying to take out of this situation is, of course, the fact that I've spent 6 years here trying to tell people why I don't go away in summer times. I don't go away in summer times because when I lived in London, New Brunswick was my summer holiday. Now I live here, I am not going to go away. I'm not going to wait till it gets hot in New Brunswick, hot and beautiful and affordable, and then fly to Florida. I'm staying put. So I'm very happy that now the rest of the province is being forced to do the same, and we'll start to really see and appreciate what we have right now. I love the current New Brunswick tourism campaign, Always MB, because for me it has always been MB. For 20 years, since 2000 I first came here, this was my happy place. This was the place that I wanted to come on my summer vacation. So the fact that I live here now, it's like, I mean, the way that I described it once was that when I was a child, about my eldest son's age, 9 years old, I was very picked on at school and used to come home very sad all the time, and was really, I wasn't academic or popular, I wasn't basically, I was a triple bill of failure for my parents, let's put it that way. And I used to come home very sad. And my mum used to say to me, every time the bullies pick on you, just think of the happiest day of your year last year. And she said, so what's your happiest day? And I said, it was that day that we went to the beach, that we had a 1 week seaside holiday. And there was that one day that it didn't rain. And we went to the beach and we made sandcastles and we played in the water. That was the happiest day of my life. And my mum said, well, just think of that day every time you feel sad. Now, why do I live in New Brunswick? Why? To answer that question, because my happiest one day as a child is my children's every day living here. And that's why I'm here. One of the all-time highlights of my career was I was back in England a couple of years ago doing a show for British travel journalists about my love of New Brunswick. And this is basically, this is the one thing, after this happened, I was like, I can give up now. I don't need to do anything else. This was the greatest moment. I did a show about how much I love it here. And New Brunswick Tourism said to me, they said, just say whatever you want. Say whatever you want about New Brunswick. So I explained to them the experience, like the things that we all know, like the fact that the best thing about living here is you don't need to own a boat, do you? You don't need to own a boat. You just turn up at any yacht club or dock or wharf with 2 cases of Alpine, and you're going to be on someone's boat for a week straight off the bat, right? I mean, why would you ever want all the hassle of fill it up with gas, right? Just turn up, get on, and then when you're finished, you just off you go. It's amazing. Only in New Brunswick. Where else but the Greater St. John area can you swim in a river and then minutes later be in a buzzing uptown area with some of the best restaurants in Canada, and then walk around a park that's 5 minutes away that was designed by the same architect as New York Central Park. Anyway, that's a taster of what I do when I'm in England. So then the Sunday Times, which is one of the Britain's most widely read broadsheets, with 3 million readers on a Sunday, came out with their 19 annual trips for 2019. They do it at the end of each year, and it's the big kind of like, what are the best places to visit anywhere in the world? And there's a few kind of, you know, up and coming places that you probably haven't heard of, like New York. New York there gets about 1/3 of a page. New York, that's quite a fun spot. You know, I haven't really heard much about New York. Japan, small up and coming travel spot, that, Japan. And the only place in the whole list to get a full page, New Brunswick, right? Greatest moment of my entire life when that happened. The headline says, go for natural beauty, stay for lobster roll, says comic and convert James Mullinger. But the thing that made me the happiest I've ever been was this cover, because having worked in newspapers and magazines before, I know how much thought goes into a cover. You pick the best images to go on the cover, obviously. So they went for a beach in the Maldives, a zoo in New Zealand, and a church in Woodstock, New Brunswick. That was quite simply the greatest moment of my life. But then it led to a very funny moment the following year. The following year, Destination Canada thought, well, hang on a minute, if he can sell New Brunswick, maybe he can sell all of Canada. So they called me over, and I was doing a series of shows at the Canadian Embassy in Trafalgar Square, Canada House. So I'm there in there, And they said, "Now listen, obviously this is about Canada. We know you're very loyal to New Brunswick, but you've got to promise to talk about all the provinces equally or we'll get in big trouble." And I said, "You can absolutely trust me, but can I have the check up front, please?" And as I stood there in the wings on the first day, the guy was up there saying, "Well, some of you remember him from his work here in England, but for the last 6 years, he's been living in Canada, and he's going to tell you how much he loves Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, James Mullinger." And I came running on like this. I saw the guy at the back of the room go, "Oh no." And I just, and if you're going to take a picture, this is the time to do it. This is the time to take your screenshots. This is the time to take your snaps. It was a great time. But this is the actual flag as well. I'm all about authenticity. I took this flag all the way to London and brought it back, which is amazing since that could clearly be used as a weapon. Anyway, that was the, those were the greatest moments of my life since moving here. I think I like to think of myself as something of a scholar of St. John history. Like I read everything I can about St. John. I'm fascinated by it. I'm sure most of you know this fact that the first paved street in all of Canada was right here in St. John. Did you know that? The first paved street in all of Canada. Prince William Street was the first paved street in all of Canada. Of course, it hasn't been bloody paved since. But you can't have everything. I would just like to say that it's true. I meant what I said earlier. I don't know if you could hear what I was saying earlier at the start of the show, just about the fact that, like everywhere in the world, we have our problems here. But our secret weapon here in New Brunswick is the people. And when we have a problem, people rally around and get behind them. I mean, I remember when I volunteered at food banks in England, if I posted on Facebook that the shelves were empty a particular day, no one would comment, no one would share, no one would show up. It made no difference. Here in St. John, if the children's cereal shelf is empty in the St. John food bank, you post about it, there will be lines of people around the block lining up to help out, right? Like all of you being here tonight, all of you supporting Rocmaura and the amazing work they do. And I'd like to say, I'm going to go back to the jokes in a minute, but it's just so I don't forget, I just want to say, like, truly, it means so much that you're all here. Work in organizations where you're having board meetings and kids are running around throwing things at the CEO. I think we should carry that tradition on after the pandemic, right? Every once a week when you're having a board meeting, you should let the kids come in and just start chucking stuff around the boardroom. I want to tell you a little story because this was a story that I wanted to tell at the show that I was supposed to be doing tonight, 3 months ago at the Imperial Theatre here in St. John. And I'm going to tell you this story now. I don't know how many of you can, I think you can see how clearly can I see it. This amazing lady is a nurse by the name of Nurse Lal. Nurse Lal was born in Trinidad and moved to England in the early 70s to train to become a midwife because her dream was to deliver babies, obviously. She went there and she trained successfully and she worked at a hospital in England called the Canadian Red Cross Hospital. She worked there for many, many years and delivered in her time there. More than 600 babies. Now, she then went on and lived in other parts of the world. But 40 years after that, or 42 years after that specifically, she is living in Los Angeles and is going through a box of mementos. And she finds a letter, the only thing she kept from that period, a letter that a mother had written on behalf of their child, just saying thank you for delivering the baby safely. And it was written from the child. So it was like, "Dear Nurse Lal, thank you so much for looking after my mummy and delivering me safely. Lots of love," right? And she found this and she took a picture of it and she sent it. She had a little WhatsApp group with all of her family. And she took a picture of this letter and sent it to her sister. Her sister Cheryl works at a hospital, also a nurse, in a small town in Canada, right? So Cheryl says to her, "Why don't we see what this little baby is doing now? Why don't we see what that baby's up to?" And she was like, "Well, what are the chances of that? How are we ever going to find this baby? All we've got is their name. I mean, yes, we've got their birth date, but how are we going to figure it out?" So Cheryl types the name into Facebook and discovers that the baby lives in the same town as her and also is about 2 minutes down the road. Now, that little baby was me and Cheryl here lives 2 minutes away from me, and her sister delivered me. Both from different parts of the world, and I've always said that New Brunswick is a magical place and anything is possible here. But this is proof that it's not just a very small place, it's actually a very, very small world. And Nurse La flew over from Los Angeles to be at that Imperial Theatre show 3 months ago today, so that when I could tell this story on stage in front of 850 people, at the end of the story, the camera was going to pan, the spotlight would pan across, and Nurse La would be there in the royal box, and we would embrace for the first time. Of course, obviously embracing wouldn't be allowed, but of course it would be an amazing thing, because would she recognize me with my clothes on? Big question. But this is the letter that my mum wrote, and she bought it for me, and I wanted to share that with you, because we often laugh and joke about what a small place it is here, but really it's a very, very small world. And essential workers like Nurse Lal, like everyone at Rocmaura, are our heroes, and they're the people that we should be saluting. And it's just been a real honor to be here tonight, to be able to help in some small way, to make them keep doing the amazing work they do and give them the resources they need to do so. I should say at the end of this, please do phone in if you do want to donate. If you thought it was funnier than you expected, well, phone in. If you thought it was less funny but more, whatever, just phone in and donate again, or get someone else to. But before I go, I actually, let me check the time. I'm going to give you the phone number one more time. The phone number is 506-652-7582. I'm going to say one more thing before I go here tonight. It is this. I think I've established how much I love living here, how much it changed my life being here. The greatest day of my life was when one of these arrived in the post. That's my permanent residency card for Canada. That meant I could live in this beautiful province forever. I was very happy, I was very excited. I was dancing around. My wife likes to keep me in check. She pulled it out of my hand and went, yeah, that's great news, James. Shame there's a bloody expiry date on it. But for me, my dream since that first day that I moved here, I'm of course now training to become a Canadian. I'm sure you know what that entails, training to become a Canadian. It means filling out lots of paperwork and learning the answers to questions that none of you could answer, right? That's the thing. But my dream since that first visit, all those years ago in the year 2000, when I fell in love with this province, my dream was to be able to consider myself a New Brunswicker. And I'm well aware that takes far longer than becoming a Canadian. I'll probably be a Canadian in 5 years or 10 years, but I won't be a New Brunswicker for 20 years. But I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I get that right, that I earn that right. Because I've got the manual, I know what I need to do. Because I'll be honest with you, my friends, I want to make homemade wine. But not just that, I want to make homemade wine out of a blue plastic barrel that I stole before the pulp mill shut down. I want to drive a four-wheeler on a highway. I want to wear head-to-toe camouflage just to go to Tim Hortons. I want to think it's perfectly acceptable to pick up women at the Irving Big Stop. I want to grow fiddleheads and sell them at the end of my driveway. I don't want to buy my fish from Sobeys. I want to buy it out of the back of a pickup truck in a parking lot of where Zeller's used to be. My name's James Mullinger, and I am a New Brunswicker. Thank you all very much indeed. Over to you, Cindy. Please keep supporting Rocmaura, and phone us in, phone us up and donate again. We are anxiously awaiting your calls. Roz and Leona are right here. Roz and Leona are here. They need to hear your voices, so give them a call. I've been invited. Thank you.
That was wonderful.
We didn't do that. Yeah, we didn't do that. Don't tell Blaine. To be fair,
I'm sorry.
We know that Stephen Chisholm's family aren't going to grass this up because anyway, we're going to do the can't do that because of the sneezing. It's a minefield out there. Thank you all. Good night. I love you. Love you.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I hope Jennifer's not watching. I just wanted to get Leona to come on up for a second, and Roz. The phone was ringing a few times there, Cindy, during while James was performing. And come on up. Now you had a couple of phone calls. Let's start with the littler ones first.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you very much to Tom, who's donated $100, And just a reminder to all people who are around my age who will be getting a lovely check of $300 if they receive the old age pension, that this is a good use of some of that money.
And that's what Leona did. She showed up with a check for 3 different charities, each for $100. So thank you, Leona. That was so nice.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Happy that I can do it. And then just...
Do you have another donation, Roz?
Oops. I have a donation of $200.
Wow. And was there one more?
There was an incredibly generous donation from Scott McCain in the amount of $10,000.
Oh.
Incredible.
Thank you so much, Scott. That's amazing. We are so thankful. Scott, are you there? There he is. Scott, thank you so much.
I'm right here. Thank you. I think I've had my second or third beer. That's why.
We are so thankful to you. We just can't say thank you enough. This is amazing. This will mean that we'll get to renovate these rooms that we've been working at for since 2007. So, and the home is almost 50 years old. So this is huge. We just
I'd like to say save me a place, but it's too early for that.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years I'll need something like that.
Okay. All right. We'll put your name on it. Thank you so much. And Cindy?
Yes.
I just wondered if you wanted to take it away.
I would love to. You know what? You know what this means, Sally? This really means that it doesn't have to be a big fancy production. We don't have to serve, a 5-course dinner. We don't have to wear tuxedos and have a dance afterwards. We just have to have the right people doing good for the right reasons and from the bottom of their hearts. And that's what St. Johners do all the time. And they came through for us again. Scott, all the people who called and the people who are watching from home, thank you so very much. And you know how James ended his show with, I want. I really want every New Brunswicker, every Canadian to be as proud of what we have locally, of all the things that we take for granted every day, as James is. He's only been here 6 years and it was beautiful. He was so funny, but he also was so sincere, and I thought that was spectacular.
I thought it was amazing during this show too, all of the people that were texting me while the show's going on and saying, get them to do this, get them to do that. It's just like everyone's a big community. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate all your little tips and tricks about Zoom. And I believe our grand total now is about $77,000. I'm just amazed at how much we've managed to raise.
You know, I wanted to just go back a little bit and say what a rock star Dr. Russell is. She's an amazing person, and I have to remind everyone we're still fighting this battle, this COVID battle. So we have to obey by her rules, and there are rules out there. Keep washing your hands, keep that social distancing, and wear a mask. And I hope Dr. Russell is still watching. So I made myself a COVID mask early on. It has music notes, trombones, and saxophones. It was the only fabric I could find in my sewing basket, but I'm getting lots of compliments. So Dr. Russell, this one's for you. I also want to say that we're fighting something else, and it's important that we stand together against racial injustices and intolerances. It's been a very difficult few weeks across the United States and here in Canada as well. It's time that we listen, that we acknowledge, that we learn, and then respect. We have to form a community and a culture of caring and kindness. And that's the only way we can get through this terrible time. We can do it. We've been through a lot, and if we all work together, we can overcome this. But the community of kindness, just remember kindness. Think of all those kind frontline workers, the kind people at Rocmaura. Your kind generosity, that's what gets us places, pardon me. So we have to just continue to forge ahead and remind people to acknowledge, to learn, to listen, and to be kind. And I think, unless you have anything more to say, Sally, I convinced Ali to get the guitar. And are we ready for one more song to take us?
I think that would be awesome. Thank you. No, I want
before we let Ali, and he's going to sing a really nice song called 45 Years by Stan Rogers.
Cindy, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be a part of this evening. Yes, Stan Rogers was one of the greatest Canadian songwriters that we've ever had. Unfortunately, we only had him for 33 years. We tragically lost him, But he left a tremendous legacy of music. He was only 23 years old when he wrote this song here. It's about long-term commitment. It's called 45 Years. Here shows his bones, wind broken stone, and the sea and the sky are one. All of the time, loves the wine and the burning in the sun. Garden trees, I'm weak in the knees, and the skies are pink blue. I like to look around, honey, all I see is you. Now the summer city lights are soft in the night, and you think that the air is clear. I'm sitting with friends, 45 cents to buy another glass. He's got something to say, but I'm so far away that I don't know who I'm talking to. I can just walk in the door, honey, all I see is you. I just want to hold you closer than I've ever held you before. Say you've been twice a wife and you're through with life. Honey, what the hell's it for? After 23 years, you think I can find a way to let you go somehow? I want to see your smiling face 45 years from now. On stage every night, I put it out to find a friend. Knows all the words, sings so she's heard, knows how all the stories. Maybe after the show she'll ask me to go home with her for a drink or two. Now her smile lights her eyes, honey, all I see is you. I just want to hold you closer than I've ever held you before. Say you've been twice a wife and you're through life. Honey, what the hell is it for? After 23 years, you think I can find a way to let you go somehow? I want to see your smiling face 45 years from now. I want to see your smiling face 45 years from now. Thanks for all your support, everybody, tonight, and have a great night and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Allie. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Don't touch me.
Oh, yeah, no.